we're going to start chapter 2 or unit 2 after your test. So your test is tonight on Monday, June 8th. It's from 6 to 7:30. So hopefully you guys have already finished your test. You're jumping on here to begin unit 2. So let's just see some of the things that you should have already completed. So for assignments, what should already at this time be completely done, you should be done with your homework and your quizzes, 2 homeworks and 2 quizzes for all of unit 1. So there's a total of 2 homeworks and 2 quizzes you should already be done with. Your test starts at 6. It expires at 7:30. Linear text policy is that we don't do makeup tests, so you have to do those when those are due. And then there's a couple of you that still haven't done the 2 assignments, your no-show quiz and your intro to my open math. So I did send you guys an email reminder, those that haven't turned that in, but most of you have, so good job. The rest of you, go ahead and just do it, get it over with, and you don't have to think about it anymore. Obviously, we're starting unit 2 tonight. So all of your homework, your 2 homeworks and your 2 quizzes for all of chapter 2 or unit 2 is due by June the 17th, which is next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, you'll have your unit 2 test, same time from 6 to 7:30. Now, I was looking at the schedule and I noticed that we are going to end chapter 3 or unit 3 right before summer break, and then you're going to be out for a whole week, and then you come back and you're supposed to take chapter 3's test. I don't think anyone really wants to do that, have that test looming over your head for your little summer break. So I am going to try to make sure that we can finish all of chapter 3 and test by, let's see, that would be Wednesday the 24th. Of course, I don't want to rush things. I want you to have plenty of time to get all your assignments due and make sure you feel comfortable with unit 3. But that is my plan, and hopefully that'll work out, because I don't want you guys having to think about having a test after your summer break. All right, so this is going to be just a short assignment because it's the introduction to unit 3, excuse me, it's the introduction to unit 2, and we are going to be multiplying fractions. So really this only should last from 7:30 to about 8:15, so 45 minutes, and then we're going to finish part 2A on Wednesday. Next Monday we'll do 2B, and then your test will be next Wednesday. So this week we're doing all of 2A. On Monday we're doing 2B, and your test is for chapter 2 is next Wednesday. All right, so let's get started. Hopefully you received my PowerPoint today and you have these problems in front of you. So when we started, the very first time we started talking about fractions, we were talking about fractions using an example of a pizza. And one of the problems we looked at said that Josh ate slices of pizza. He ate 2 slices, and they were each 1/6 of a whole pizza each. So we can figure out what fraction of the pizza he ate by using addition. So Josh ate 1/6 of a piece of a pizza plus 1/6, which equals, if we add our numerators, it equaled that he ate 2/6 of a whole pizza. Then we simplified 2/6 down to 1/3. So for his 2 slices that were each 1/6 of a pizza, he ate a whole third of the pizza, 1/3 of the pizza. So we found our answer by adding. Well, since he ate 2 slices that were the same size, we could use multiplication to figure out what fraction of the pizza he ate. So it says he ate 2 times 1/6 slices. We multiply straight across. We turn our 2 into an improper fraction. We multiply 2 across. We get the answer that Josh ate 2/6 of a pizza, which simplifies to 1/3. So what do? Let's see what happens step by step. The original problem was 2 times 1/6. The first thing we did was we wrote 2 as a fraction, so 2 over 1. Any whole number is that number over 1 as a fraction. Then you multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 6 is 6. And the last thing we do is said, oh, well, 2 and 6 are both divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the final answer was he ate a third of the pizza. And we found that out by multiplication. So what are our steps to multiplying fractions? Well, the first thing is we're going to convert any whole numbers to fractions, or I should actually add to that, or mixed numbers. You have to convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. Oh my goodness, I really can write neat in a kind of neater than what it looks like. And then after we convert whole numbers to fractions or mixed numbers to improper fractions, we're going to multiply straight across. So the first problem we're going to do is example 1, letter A. Now these are both just common fractions. Nothing simplifies, so we're going to multiply straight across. We get 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. I don't know why this thing won't write a curvy symbol without it trying to do that. 3 over 4 times 2 is 8. So 3 nor 8 have any common factors. So that is the final answer. That is simplified. Now letter B, we have a little bit of work to do because we have a whole number of 4. So we have to write 4 as an improper fraction. So we're going to write 5/8 times 4 over 1. Now we can multiply straight across. We get 5 times 4 is 20. And 8 times 1 is 8. Now the first thing I want to do is simplify by dividing both of these numbers by 4. I could divide them by 2, and then I have to do it again. Or the greatest common factor is 4. So 20 divided by 4 is 5, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I'm going to divide the top number by the bottom number and say, well, 2 will go into 5 2 whole times. 2 whole times, so my whole number is 2, with a remainder of 1 half. Okay, so 2 1/2. 2 1/2 is our answer. Now, let's back up for just a minute and go back to our number. Go back to our original problem. So we can actually simplify before we multiply. So we had 5 over 8 times 4 over 1. Now you can always simplify up and down whenever possible. In this case, you can't simplify. However, I can multiply. I can simplify diagonally because when I put these together, I could write it like this and say, well, I can simplify 4 over 8. I can divide 4 and 8 by 4. So 4 times 1 is 4. So 1, because I'm dividing both numbers by 4. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now I'm going to multiply straight across. 5 times 1 is 5. And 2 times 1 is 2. And then when I divide, I still get the same answer, 2 and 1/4. No, 1/2, 2 1/2. Okay, so here I simplified before I multiplied. First, I multiplied straight across and then I simplified. I got the same answer either way. All right, so letter C, I am going to turn these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we're going to go around the world. Remember that? So 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11, and my denominator stays the same. 3 times 9 is 27 plus 1 is 28 over 9. Now I want to see, okay, these are big numbers. Can I simplify up and down? Nope. Can I simplify diagonally? Nope. Those don't simplify either. So I am going to end up getting the big numbers. So I'm going to multiply 11 times 28, and I get 308. 308, and 5 times 9 is 45. I'm going to see in my calculator, how many times will 45 go into 308? Well, it goes 6 full times, but not evenly. 6 full times, so I'm saying 308 divided by 45 goes 6 full times. Well, 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 3. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 3 is 27. So then when I subtract, that becomes a 10. I get 38. So my remainder is 38 over my denominator of 45. And even though you go, oh, well, those are big numbers, they have to simplify. They don't. I know that 45 is divisible by 3 and 9. But when I try to divide 38 by 3 or 9, it doesn't go. So that is simplified. That's the final answer. All right, let's look at letter D. These are all even numbers, right? So I know I could divide every single number by 2. Or if I just look at 6/12, I know that 6 and 12 are both divisible by 6. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to divide 6 by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. And then 14 and 24 are both divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide 14 by 2 and I get 7. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So it's a little messy. So let's see what we got. We got 1 times 7 over 2 times 12. Well, 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 12 is 24. 7 and 24 don't have any common multiples, and so that is the final answer, 7/12. If I'd multiplied with the original numbers, I would have got really big numbers, and then I'd have to end up simplifying them all the way down. But either way, my answer is 7/24. All right, just so I can see my last 2 problems, I got to get rid of everything I've written. So hopefully you have those answers. Now, letter E and F, I'm multiplying 3 fractions. So I'm just going to multiply from left to right for both of these. So what we have here is 1 times 2 times 3. So 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 4 is 36. Both of these numbers are divisible by 6. And my final answer is 1/6. Now, if I wanted to reduce before I multiplied, I could have reduced 2 and 4, because remember, you can simplify up and down, or you can simplify diagonally. Why are you doing that? All right, so 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. I'm going to put a box around these so I don't forget I have new numbers. Also, I have a 3 on top and a 3 on the bottom. So once again, I can divide both of these by 3, and I get 1 and 1. 3 over 3 is equal to 1. So basically on the top, I'm left with 1 times 1 times 1. And on the bottom, I have 3 times 1 times 2, which is still 1/6, like we got when we did it earlier. All right, so finally letter F, we're going to make these improper fractions. You are not allowed to multiply your whole numbers and then multiply the fractions. It does not work, I promise you. You will not get the right answer. So we do have to turn them into improper fractions. So we're going to multiply 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 1 is 5. And the denominator doesn't change. All right, then we have 9, which is 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11/3. And then finally we have 3/5. All right, so on the top we have, let me get rid of that. Sorry. On the top we have 5 times 11 times 3. In the denominator, we have 4 times 3 times 5. And the reason I wrote it like that is you can see, I could go ahead and multiply all these numbers together, or if I write it like this, it's easy to see, oh, I have 2 sets of 3s. So I can divide 3 by 3, and I have 1. I also have 2 sets of 5s, a pair of 5s. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So then on the top, I have 1 times 11 times 1. And in the denominator, I have 4 times 1 times 1. Well, anything, whoops, I said 1, but I wrote 4. So anyway, that's a 1. So 11 times 1 is 11, and 4 times 1 is 4. I have to turn that into a mixed number. So I'm going to divide the top by the bottom. 4 goes into 11 2 times. So 2 whole times. And my remainder is 3. So 3 over my denominator doesn't change, 4. So my final answer is 2 3/4. So that's a good little bit of work, isn't it? All right. All right, so let's look at our simple rules again. Okay, steps to multiply fractions. Number 1, we're going to convert any whole numbers to fractions. Number 2, we're going to convert any mixed numbers to improper fractions. Number 3, we multiply straight across. Number 4, we reduce along the way if possible. We present the final answer, we reduce it at the end if possible. Now notice on these, we're not adding or subtracting. We do not need common denominators when multiplying fractions. You must have common denominators when you're adding and subtracting fractions, but multiplying and dividing fractions, you do not need common denominators. So that's good news, right? All right, so you try. So there are these 2 problems and 5 more examples. I want all of you to try these. I want you to pause your video. I want you to try all of these problems and then turn your video back on and make sure you're doing them right or you got the right answer. All right, so here we go. So 2a, we're going to turn 10 into an improper fraction. 10 over 1. We can simplify first. We can divide 5 by 5 and get 1, and 10 divided by 5 and get 2. And now all we have is 4 times 2, which is 8. Do I need to write 8 over 1? I could, but 8 over 1, 8 divided by 1 is just 8. Okay? Letter B. You're going to go around the world, multiply, then add. So we're going to do 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 over 2, times 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7/4. So nothing simplifies. We can't simplify up and down, and we can't simplify diagonally. We just multiply straight across. 5 times 7 is 35 over 8. Then we want to know how many times would 8 go into 35. Well, I know that 5 times 8 is 40. That's too much, so it must go 4 times. So 4 is going to be our whole number. 4 times 2 is 32, which means our remainder is 6 over 8. 6 and 8 are both divisible by 2, so we get 4 3/4. 4 3/4. Okay, hopefully you guys got that right. All right, so for these final problems, you just multiply straight across. If you want to, you get 3 over 30, which is equal to 1/10. Or if I had simplified first, I divide 3 by 3, 6 by 3, and once again, I would have got 1 over 10, final answer. Letter B, I'm definitely going to get rid of these pair of 9s on top and bottom. Those are going to be 1s. 9 divided by 9 is 1. Now 8 and 12 I can divide by 2, or the greatest common factor is 4. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So we have 2 times 1 over 1 times 3, which is 2/3. All right, letter C, I should say, I don't need to make 0 an improper fraction because I already know that anything times 0 is 0. Anything times 0 is 0. All right, letter D, I'm going to go around the world. So 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3 halves, times 1/2 is equal to 3/4. And we are done, 3/4. That was easy. And then finally, letter E, we're going to do 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10/3 times 2 times 5 is 10 plus 2 is 12/5. And everything simplifies, right? Diagonally. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. So now all we have is 2 times 4, which is 8. 8/1, which is equal to 8. Okie dokie. All right, guys, so hopefully you got all of those right. I hope I didn't make a mistake. It's possible, but hopefully I got the right answers and you got the same answers to go along with me. And so we're going to stop right there. And on Wednesday night, we will finish the rest of Unit 2, Part A. So that's why your homework for 2A isn't due until, next Monday would be good, but definitely by Wednesday. Next Wednesday is your test. Okay? All right, everybody, have a good night.